We're in lesson 17 of our code.org web design unit. This deals with classes in CSS. And the best way to think of what a class is, it's grouping a bunch of different tags together so you can style them all at the same time. So if I can come over here now, and I can notice I have a website already made in the third tab here for the problem, and we can see that they use the class tag already. And one of the things that we'll look at is in the style sheet, they have a class called main for the main image right here. And we can see that as we go through the code, we have the top class, we have the main, and what it allows them to do is it allows them to attach the same CSS rule to anything that has that class tag. So before we go about fixing and looking at this, I'm going to show you how to create a class. So what I'm going to do is for this H1, inside the tag itself, I'm going to create a space and I'm going to type the word class. And you can see they have a little menu that comes up in code.org. It has the equal sign and inside parentheses. I can call my class anything I want. I'm going to call it group 1. So the first item in this grouping is my H1. Now I'm going to look for an H6, and like we know, H1s and H6s act differently. But I'm going to group them together. So we can see I have my H6 in here, and we have a separate H6 here as well, but I'm going to leave that alone, and I'm going to come down to this H2. And again, I'm going to put this H2 in that group 1 class. I can name my class whatever I want to, but now those 3 elements I've made into their own grouping, which we call a class. I'm going to come into my CSS page. I'm going to hit period and group 1. I'm going to open my bracket, and I'm just going to set my first rule. And I'm going to say that my color for this, let's do something that stands out, is deep pink. I'm going to do my semicolon, and I'm going to close my bracket. So what we can see now is everything that I put in that group 1 and identified it inside that tag as a class will follow this rule. So I could do anything else, and let's say I wanted to do, for an example, a margin around this of 20 pixels. I could apply that rule, and we might have to go a little bit bigger to see the actual difference. We'll go 50 pixels. See, we can see how it moves everything 50 pixels on all sides from this. So what classes allow us to do is it allows us to group different types of HTML tags instead of just, H1s, because that would have affected all my H1s and my H6s if I did an H1 tag in here. But by choosing to create a class inside that tag and naming it whatever it is, it groups them together so I can affect different tags across different problems or different categories. So if we take a look then, this one's just asking you to, on the bubble 3, is set a new rule inside of an existing class. So I just come to my style sheet, my CSS, and I can see my top image. I could do a border style. Let's do a groove. And let's do a border color. Something dark or something that's easily seen. Let's do the violet. So now you can see is everything in those top images has that. Oh, I have a bottom style, so I'm going to change that to just border style. We can see I have a border style that goes and applies to all of those images in that class. It doesn't apply to my other images that aren't in that class. So as you progress in this, they're just going to ask you to look at the problem, and make changes to those classes.